everybody, welcome back. Today I'm taking a look at Strike Witches Hakugin No Tsubasa for the Xbox 360. This shooter, based on the anime and manga series of the same name, was developed by Cyberfront and released in Japan only in July of 2010, and it was ported to the PSP in 2012. The 360 version is not region free unfortunately, but the PSP version is, and they're both basically the exact same game as far as I know. So whatever I say in this review, just go ahead and apply it to the PSP version as well. The plot to Strike Witches is certainly an interesting one. The setting is the mid-20th century when the Earth has been invaded by a mysterious alien force known as the Nuroi, who began their invasion in 1939. That's right, this series is set during World War II, but instead of Allied forces fighting the Axis powers, it's the human race fighting off an alien invasion. The Strike Witches themselves are a group of young girls with exceptional magical abilities from all over the world who are brought together to form the 501st Joint Fighter Wing. Each girl has her own unique striker unit, machines affixed to their legs that enable them to fly, and they all use their magic powers to wield oversized weapons that would normally be too powerful for human beings to handle. In the series, the various battles that take place between the Strike Witches and the Nuroi are actually historically accurate to the time and place of actual World War II battles, which is pretty cool. And the game closely follows the plot of the anime, though in a much more succinct format. The gameplay in Hakugin no Tsubasa reminds me of at least 3 different other games, or a series of games combined into one, which I think ends up working pretty well. On the surface, it's kind of akin to a cave-produced manic shooter, like Death Smiles for instance, but in large part it controls a lot more like Forgotten Worlds or Scat on the NES. Your movement is controlled with the left analog stick, and to fire your weapons, you simply point the right stick in whatever direction you want to fire, and you have a full 360-degree range of motion. You control a group of 3 girls simultaneously. The groups are predetermined in the story mode, and you can mix and match in the arcade mode. And how you control the 3 of them reminds me a bit of the Battle Mania series, also known as Troubleshooter in the West. You have a leader whose movements you control, and the other 2 girls automatically follow your movements. By pressing the triggers and bumpers, you can change from a flying V formation to firing in 2 different directions at once, or having your subs follow your movements, kind of like Options in Gradius or something. You can also change who's in the leader position at any time, and all of the girls have varying levels of attack power, flight speed, and area of effect. I've got to say, for a shooter, Strike Witches offers you a lot of options for how you'll play, and the melding of styles works very well and is surprisingly easy to get the hang of. Under each girl's portrait is an orange bar which acts as their offensive magic meter. Basically, this substitutes bombs with a hyper-powerful magic attack activated by pressing the right trigger, which also generates a temporary protective shield. The shot is also only temporary, as the longer you hold down the trigger, the more your magic is reduced. It does regenerate pretty quickly though, and you don't have to completely drain your meter every time you use it. You can use it in quick bursts and refrain from using all of your energy. The larger blue bar is your health meter, which obviously depletes every time you take a hit, and that same temporary shield is activated whenever that happens, so there's no fear of taking a whole bunch of hits all at once. There are no health power-ups though, or any power-ups for that matter aside from the crosses that can be collected for bonus points. Aside from story and arcade, the only other gameplay mode to speak of is a gallery mode, which is less than impressive, I guess. Doesn't really take anything away from Strike Witches though, having only 2 gameplay modes that is. It plays really well, and that's all that really matters to me. The graphics and sound departments are where I think Strike Witches does fall a little short though. The graphics for one are just so-so. Nothing really wrong with them, the characters look nice enough, but all of the stages are just kind of bland. Not a whole lot of detail like you'll find in more recent cave shooters, for example. The cutscenes are pretty flat too. You'd think being based on an anime they'd be, you know, animated, but instead you just get static images, which is disappointing. The soundtrack is also not very impressive. Aside from the opening and ending songs and the boss theme, it's all really forgettable music. It's not bad, it doesn't make me cringe or anything, but as I write this, I can't remember any of it aside from its blandness. So, not the greatest presentation in the world, but the character designs are cute, the voice work is done by the Japanese cast of the anime, and there's nothing to speak of that really turned me off. This is a really good shooter as it turns out, much better than I thought it was going to be. Like I said, it blends the styles of a few different shooters that I'd played before, and it works pretty well. The Xbox 360 version can usually be found brand new online for between $25 and $30, which I'd say is fair. Like I said, it's not region free though, so if you're thinking of getting a copy but don't have a Japanese 360, then you can always go for the PSP version, which typically goes for about $10 more. If you've already played all of the cave shooters out there and are still jonesing for more, you'll probably find a lot to like about Strike Witches, Hakugin no Tsubasa. Check it out.